The Italian Wine Podcast is the community-driven platform for Italian wine geeks around the world. Support the show by donating at ItalianWinepodcast.com. Donate €5 or more and we'll send you a copy of our latest book, My Italian Grape Geek Journal, absolutely free. To get your free copy of My Italian Grape Geek Journal, click Support Us at ItalianWinepodcast.com or wherever you get your pods. Grazie mille.
Benvenuti! Welcome to the next generation with me, your host, Giulia Stocchetti. Join me as I take you on a journey to discover young stars of the Italian food and wine world. Pronti? Andiamo! Hi everyone, and welcome back to this brand new episode of the next generation on the Italian Wine Podcast. This is your host, Giulia. And today, I'm taking you to Peschiera del Garda in the province of Verona, where two brothers are making wine together, believing in the aging potential of the Turbiana grape variety. Let me introduce to you Lamberto and Lodovico Montresor from Ottella winery. Hi, guys.
Ciao,
Hi.
Giulia. Hello,
Ciao.
everyone. How you doing?
Ciao, good. How are you?
Oh, good.
Yeah,
the
really
sun is
good.
shine.
Oh, that's beautiful. When the sun shines, everything is just fantastic. It's such a treat to have the both of you here today because, it's always nice to have more people in the interview. It makes everything more fun and more interesting. So thanks for being here today with me.
Thank you. Thank you, Giulia, to host us.
Can you please introduce yourself? How old are you? What do you do in your life?
I'm Lamberto Montresor, and I'm almost 28 years old. And together with my brother, Lodovico, we represent the fifth generation of Ottella. And 4 years I've been handling the commercial aspect, both for the Italian market and abroad.
Yeah, I'm Lodovico, and I recently turned 30. Currently, I'm trying to be a winemaker at Ottella by assisting by our father, Francesco, and our cellar master, Domenico, in the cellar.
So you're an enologist? You studied enology or something else?
Yes, I'm an enologist. I studied viticultural enology in Milan, where I did my bachelor. And after it, I did a master degree in outboard, where I spent 1 year in Montpellier in France and one in Geisenheim in Germany.
You're both working at Ottella winery and they're just the two of you, or you have also some other brothers and sisters that I don't know?
We have also a sisters, but right now in the winery, there are my father, my uncle, and me, and of course, and Lodovico.
We have also two cousins, but they are also young and they are studying at university. So they will be free to choose what they will want to do.
It's really a family-run business.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole family is involved in the wine production and in running the winery.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
So I guess you're never thirsty. You always have something to drink on the table, right?
Yeah.
Why have you decided to take on the family business?
My opinion, I never be forced by our parents to work in the winery. But, being born and raised in courtyard of our winery, it came naturally to follow in our father's footstep. And one thing that I realized during my school years is that studying wasn't definitely for me. So right after high school, I just left for Australia, where I lived for a year and then worked as a chef in 2 restaurants. And that was my first step in the world of food and wine. So later, after a small trip in Indonesia and Thailand, I just went back home with a clear goal in my mind, just travel to promote our wines. So I just entered the winery, of course, at the beginning in the field and the cellar, just to know everything about how it works. And then started working alongside my father and my uncle in the markets.
Wow, that's super cool.
Yeah.
And how was getting back home after being abroad for such a long time by yourself?
Quite strange because I was almost 19. So when I went back home, I was just trying to figure out, okay, now what can I do? I don't want to study, but I don't want to I don't want to go straight, in the winery just to ask to my father, please give me the job. So I just try to figure out how to manage the situations. After that, I enter in really step by step in the winery, in the field, and then in productions. And then when I was ready, just my father and my uncle asked me, why you don't want to enjoy also the markets? And that was my dream.
So like the toughest part was your dream. That's cool. So from being a chef to be the sales manager and export manager of your winery. Wow. Congrats.
Yeah.
What a life.
Yeah.
And what about Lodovico?
I always loved the cellar, and I remember when I was a child that I was going secretly in the barrique room and put my fingers in the barrique just to drink wine. I always approached the wine world as a child with a deep curiosity, and for this reason,
And still dipping your finger in barriques, right?
Yeah.
yes, absolutely not. But every day I taste them, I check them. And yes, after the high school, I decided to study more wine. And for this reason, I decided to go straight to university and then to travel a bit. And yes, the most difficult part of coming back home is the fact that when you travel, you taste a lot with different person. You always share different your opinion with others, and sometimes I really miss this part of staying aboard. But the most cool things of this job is that as much you learn, you find out that you don't know nothing. And I'm really lucky because I work with our cellar master, my father, and we share a lot of things, a lot of knowledge. They are sharing with me their experiences, and I think that with a different approach that I learned outboard, we will be able to create new things. It's going to be really exciting.
You can also switch, right? Like sometimes Lamberto can take care of the winery, of the cellar, and you, Lodovico, can go abroad and sell and promote the wines just to travel a bit and taste more, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, but not that much, Julia. You won't believe what I just to tell you a small story that we had in London. It was our first work trip together,
Fantastic.
and I was super serious, still working at the tasting table after hours. And while I just look at Ludovico, and he was practically tasted the entire events lineup. He was drunk, and I was mad.
Lamberto, it was market research. Ludovico was just trying to understand what was going on outside Ottella. So he had to,
Exactly.
Do that sacrifice to taste everything.
Exactly. I was
I'm with you,
studying.
Ludovico. Yeah, he was, because, he's still learning to improve the winemaking
Yeah,
and
exactly.
everything to make outstanding wines. So, Lamberto, you have to be patient and just accept that.
Thank you, Giulia. Thank you.
You went also to London together to promote the wines. That's super awesome. I mean, so in London, you can also find so many different kind of wines from all over the world.
Are you enjoying this podcast? Don't forget to visit our YouTube channel, Mama Jumbo Shrimp, for fascinating videos covering Stevie Kim and her travels across Italy and beyond, meeting winemakers, eating local food, and taking in the scenery. Now back to the show.
I was taking a look at your website, basically, because I was curious to see the place, at least, online. And I was noticing that you combine basically modern art, architecture, sustainability, biodiversity, and nature.
Yeah.
Like, what's the vibe at your place? And especially, would it be possible to come to visit you?
Yeah, that's an excellent question because the passion for art has always been part of our family. So our grandfather Lodovico was a huge and enthusiast and collector, as our father and our uncle, and of course ourselves too. Just to give you an idea, ever since we were child, we have seen many paintings by famous artists come and go in our house, like Mario Schifano, Alighiero Boetti, Salvo. It made perfect sense for us to build a space that reflect our passion. So we wanted to craft a space where visitors could even if just for a while, become passionate about art like us. What better way to do that than while enjoying a glass of wine? Therefore, the new winery has been designed with an artistic and contemporary approach, using just simple materials such as wood, concrete, and curtain. For the layout of the spaces, the architect was joined by Julia Bornfield, that is an artist of international level. Just to give you an idea, she's right now currently exhibiting in the Biennale di Venezia.
Yes, while regarding the sustainability, we always put a lot of attention on biodiversity in the vineyard as much as we could. By choice, we don't use any herbicide in the vineyard, and plus we prefer to adopt sexual confusion instead of using pesticide for pest control. We use as much careful as we can the water, and we have installed just drip irrigation in our vineyard, and we use it just when it's strictly necessary. And while also in the winery, we can cover a significant part of our energy needs thanks to a photovoltaic system that we have. And finally, we installed a water purification system for the water that we use in the winery. And in the future, we will try to do better.
That's really interesting because sustainability and biodiversity are actually something that the people do really care about nowadays. And it seems like, Lodovico, you're not just working in the cellar as like winemaker, but also taking care of the vineyards. Or is there someone else doing that?
Well, we have a team in the vineyard as well. We have 5 person working in the vineyards, and I'm also helping them. Not every day directly in vineyard because I spent definitely more time in the cellar, but taking decision and helping them in working, I do it every day.
Oh, wow, that's really important. So you actually know what kind of grapes you're going to take to the winery when it's time for harvest. But talking about like these days, it's been raining so much, at least in our region. And how are your vines doing? How are they coping with this crazy weather?
For the wines, is not a problem. When there is water and then sun, they grow up really fast. And indeed, just think that in summer, our vines got 30 centimeters in 1 week. The main problem are pests, like peronospora, that was a real problem last year, the mildew. So for this, the control in the field of this pest, going in the field directly and check if it's occurring or not, and control also the weather forecast is really important. So far, we did the minimum treatment, and we were able to enter in the field at the perfect moment. So even after this month of rain, so far we haven't seen any particular disease problem in our vineyard. Of course, this is a work in which we can do our best, but at the end, the boss is not our father. The boss here is the weather. And this is the only true. Is the only true.
But I'm happy to hear that, I mean, you're doing well and you don't have much problems with this weather, because it's really important to have healthy grapes. How many hectares do you have?
Actually, we are managing 90 hectares in Lugana appellation, a significant amount of hectares, but just think that Lugana DOC is a smaller appellation based on 5 municipalities, and we have plots on 4 of them. And for us, this is a real richness because it helps us to better interpret the diversity in soils, in microclimate, the ripeness of the grape, and the age of the vines to better represent the terroir and the vintage. So our Lugana, for us, is a great interpretation of the terroir and the vintage.
Wow, so you got so many different expressions of Lugana, and you get to experiment what are the differences and the similarities between all the wines you get from different plots. But do they have like different soils, different aspects, different altitudes? Why are they so different?
The main characteristics in Lugana is the soil. The soils of Lugana appellation are really, really rich in white clay that comes from a big glacier that was located at the place of the Garda Lake. And these glaciers moving upward and backward was releasing during the time important concentration of this white clay. And this clay is not homogeneous in the appellation. There are some plots, some part of the appellation in which this clay is more concentrated. I'm speaking about more the part of Peschiera del Garda, San Benedetto di Lugana, and Pozzolengo, and the part which is directly on the Garda Lake. So the difference, the main difference is the soil. Then another difference is that going southern and going closer to the Morenic hills, there the soils are more rich in rocks, and this tells a lot about the freshness and the minerality of the wines. When we vinify them, we try to separate our plots as much as we can. So in November, when our fermentation are ended, we have this big tasting where we taste all the tanks directly from all the tanks, and we try to understand the vintage, understand the wine, and from this tasting we then create the Lugana, the vintage Lugana. So basically, it's an assemblage.
Like you blend the different plots.
Exactly, exactly. With the exception of Le Crete, which is our crew. This is the only Lugana entirely produced from a unique plot. But why? Because this plot historically was planted by our grandfather in 1969. So part of this plot is made up with old vines. And because of it's really, really rich in white clay. And that's confer more salinity, more minerality to the wine that came from that vineyard. Moreover, this vineyard, the plot that we harvest later in the vintage, and it confers more intensity in flavor to the wines. And that's it. So basically in the cellar, what we want to do is just take a real pictures of this plot and what happened in this plot during the vintage. So we prefer to vinify it in just stainless steel tanks to preserve this minerality, this saltiness. And from this year, from this vintage, we vinified just a bit in concrete tanks because in this way we were able to highlight the salinity of this terroir. And this is crazy how all this works, and this is and what we do.
So you think that concrete actually helps out the minerality and the salinity of the wine, like to show off, like to really feel it then in the glass?
Absolutely, absolutely. I truly think that if the wine is fermented in concrete tanks and mature in the concrete tanks, this material works really well in the perception of the acidity. Comparing with the stainless steel tank, the wines that are vinified in concrete, the freshness is not that sharp as the one in stainless steel tanks, and it's much more elegant, long, and the salinity, the saltiness of the wine is highlighted.
So this is basically a new project that is going on at your winery to vinify Turbiana in concrete, or is there also something else you're doing?
This is one of the projects, Giulia. We have many projects.
Like Lamberto, what's your favorite project going on?
At this moment, we are focusing, of course, in the versatility of the Turbiana in different materials, like Lodovico said. So At the moment, we are experimenting, and I want to spend some words about our Back to Silence. That is a white wine obtained only with Turbiana grapes, vinified entirely in amphora. So the long skin maceration,
It's like an orange wine,
yeah.
or
So it's like a long maceration, can last from 5 to 6 months, depending, of course, on the vintage. So it's made with a spontaneous fermentation without any addition of sulfates. And of course, there's a small selection of bottles, around 10,000 bottles per year. It's a project that began in 2017. Initially, it was produced only in stainless steel tank with a 30-day maceration, but later in 2021, we experimented with the amphora and tried to pushing the maceration to the extreme to understand how far we could take the Turbiana. So the result was surprising, and we decided to remove the stainless tank and vinify entirely in amphora. And this is our Back to Silence wines.
wow, that sounds so interesting. So Turbiana is a really versatile grape variety. And how long do you think it can age?
I mean, it's commonly known that Turbiana can age really well. Also, Luigi Veronelli, the famous Italian journalist, just claimed the longevity of Lugana wines. And today we can also experience this scientifically. And indeed, my brother just make a study with Davide Camoni of Fena Consulting and with a professoressa Daniela Fracassetti in 2018, where he compared 7 different vintages of Lugana over a span of 13 years, with the youngest being from the 17 and the oldest from the 2005 vintage. I don't know, Lodo, you want to say about your study?
Yes, was a fantastic studies because we observed how Lugana aromatic profiles change during time and how it can easily preserve its freshness and the fruity and floral notes up to 5 years before it started to evolve and reveal a great aging potential. That study was conducted of one of our crew, the Lecrete wine we were speaking about before, and at that time was made just in stainless steel tank. Was amazing to see the evolution of a wine produced with the Turbiana grape.
This study just showed how Lugana wines can age more than 10 years. So we also have empirical evidence of the aging of Lugana every day. Last summer, for example, we had a vertical Lugana wine tasting. Was crazy to see how the wine evolves, and the Lugana get elegant hydrocarburic and flinty notes like gas and gunpowder after 5 years of aging. And at the same times, it's the freshness and minerality are still present even after 10 years of aging. Finally, it's incredible the complexity and elegance that Lugana wines get. But also the consortia of Lugana and many other producers are promoting this.
You're making me thirsty. I feel like a glass of Lugana right now. It's almost aperitivo time, so yeah, it could be nice.
You need it.
Come, we are plenty of Lugana.
That's awesome. And so, like, do you only grow Turbiana or you also grow other grape varieties? Like, how many different wines do you produce?
We don't grow only Lugana. We produce around 900,000 bottles per year. So the 70% of that production is represented by Lugana, but the others are made by our rosé. So we also planted 3 hectares of Lagrein in our land. That is not a typical grapes from our regions.
Actually, it's from Alto Adige, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
but we just planted just for studying, for experiment, and now
and because our father really loved it.
yeah. So
Who doesn't love Lagrein? Come on, guys.
yeah, that's and so we have done a blend with Lagrein and Corvina Veronese here in the Moranic Hills. So this is our rosé wines, and I have to say that today is our third bestseller wines, our rosé wines.
Wow, and what's the first?
The first, of course, is the Lugana Classic, but we also planted red grapes here. We also have a blend of Corvina Veronese, Merlot, and Cabernet Sauvignon. So, and we also produce 2 sparkling wines, Metodo Classico, one Chardonnay, and one Pinot Noir, of course, for the roses.
What's your biggest market, Lamberto?
I have to say that our biggest market right now is Italian market. This makes us also happy as it is the result of a lot of daily hard work. This trend started before COVID and then grew significantly post-COVID as we have put a lot of effort in the hospitality at the winery. So offering guided tours and wine shop space, but and we are well distributed in all Italy. But the other significant portion of our market, of course, is the German market because the proximity to Lake Garda greatly help us as it's like a second home for German people.
Oh yeah, they come on holiday and they enjoy the bella vita, the dolce vita with good food, good wines, beautiful places, nice weather. Yeah, I bet.
Definitely.
I'd do the same if I was in their shoes. So
Me too.
But I love the fact that your biggest market is Italy. I mean, it's not easy to be strong on the national market, on the home market. So congratulations, guys. You're doing a great job.
Thank you. Thank you, Giulia.
Just let me ask you something. Like when you hang out together, because hopefully you also hang out together or you just work together?
We do go out together occasionally.
Okay. And what do you drink when you're together?
After 8 hours of wine, we like to change it to beer.
To beer and gin tonics. If you go out for lunch or dinner, we enjoy experimenting and often take also recommendation from the sommelier. So choosing something new that we are not familiar with. I'm more for the white wines. I think that Chardonnay and Riesling for me are top on the list. But when I was younger, maybe I was more for the reds, Pinot Nero, or some also light reds from Valpolicella sites, like the Valpantena Valpolicella reds.
Interesting. And what about Lodovico?
I would like to say that I drink champagne and Bourgogne every day, but I can't.
No one will believe
Yeah,
that.
no
I mean,
one.
drinking Borgogna is like unachievable.
Yeah.
But we don't need Borgogna. We got Lugana and Lake Garda. What the hell? I mean, would you compare the weather in Borgogna and the weather on the lake?
We are plenty of really nice wine in Italy. Maybe too much, and for this it's difficult to choose also. But if I have to choose, I usually go for example, for a white wine. I really love Albarino from Galicia and Riesling from Mosel.
I totally understand. We are on the same page.
Yeah, it's a great page. It's a great page. I've been in Mosel many times when I was studying in Germany, and it's crazy beautiful. The place and the wine are fantastic.
The wines are great, but are super expensive. So, like, sometimes I move to Nahe to buy something similar to Mosel, but like cheaper, But yeah, that's amazing. And Riesling, I think, is so underrated. It's such an underdog, but it has such a great potential. I mean, I could drink Riesling from 6 in the morning until 6 in the morning of the day after. I just love it.
As they used to say, it's cab o'clock. You can always drink a good Riesling. And I love the fact that it has such a nice acidity that it can balance also with the sugar it can have. So also a cabinet with a certain grams per liter of sugar, it's still an easy drinking wine that you can drink at every time of the day.
Every day.
I know they're completely different grape varieties, but like when you were talking about your Lugana before, like that aging gains some petrol-like aromas, some flinty notes, and it's a fresh and vibrant white wine. It could be like a brother of Riesling in a sense, maybe less aromatic.
Yeah, from a drinker point of view, yes, it might be. They have many things in common in terms of ageability. They are not familiar, of course. Turbiana is more related to Verdicchio, of course, as grape variety. But for sure, they share this great aging ability that is not that common for white wines.
I got the last question for you guys, even if I just love sitting here and chatting with you. It's about like young generations. What are the young people drinking? Do they actually enjoy wines, in your opinion? Or they're more towards, I don't know, beers or drinks? What do you think in your experience?
I believe that younger consumers, younger drinkers are definitely more conscious than those of 20 years ago. Indeed, they are more aware about the environment and the health. I think that nowadays younger generation prefers to drink wines that are fresher, dry, with lower alcohol content. We are more focused on the fruitiness than the complexity. There is a trend to go on the easier to understand wine. On the other hand, there is a segment of young people who are becoming truly wine enthusiasts. And we have experience of this also in our winery because more and more young folks are coming for wine tours.
Yeah.
And this group of young drinkers is really high educated and more open to experimentation, and they are easy to try new types of wine. So and you can easily see with the natural wine, orange wine, and that's it.
I'm so happy to hear that because it seems like people are drinking less and less wine, but I'm not talking about us guys because for sure we always enjoy a nice glass of wine, and Ludovico puts fingers in every single oak cask he finds on his way, while Lamberto is like, oh, stop drinking, we gotta work.
Yeah.
But it's really nice to hear that.
No, definitely, Giulia. But personally, I think that people is drinking less but better.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's fair enough. I mean, that's cool. What a perla. All right, guys. So, is there anything else you want to add before we wrap up the episode?
Giulia, come to visit us for an aperitivo. It's summertime almost. So, and all of you.
I definitely will. I'll call you guys like on a Saturday and I'll tell you, hey, I'm coming to visit you, but get ready because usually I'm super hyper thirsty and I'm always asking like a bunch of questions. So get ready.
Okay.
We are ready.
We are
ready.
You were born ready.
We can drink directly from the tank. The tank are big.
That's beautiful. I just love it. That's awesome. Thank you for being with me today, guys, and have a great day.
Thank you very much, Giulia.
Ciao, grazie, ciao.
Ciao, Giulia, grazie.
Ciao.
Grazie for being with me today and listening to the next generation on the Italian Wine Podcast. Alla prossima. Cin cin!